Strike of Neos is a core booster set in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Released in North America on February 28th, 2007, it was the first core set of the year. I still don't know what the cover art monster is though. Must be a fluke. Anyway, the set introduced not only the 6 samurai archetype, but was the first set with TCG exclusive cards, which are cards that us Westerners get before Japan. Just like in my previous video about my favorite cards in the set, I was not starved for choice with this list. And the top ones, later on, are some of the weirdest and freakiest monsters that this game has ever had, in my opinion. So, without further ado, let's dive into the top 10 weirdest monsters in Strike of Neos. And kicking off our list at number 10 is Gene Warped Warwolf. Gene Warped Warwolf is an Earth, level 4 Beast Warrior normal monster with 2000 attack and 100 defense with flavor text that reads, "This Warwolf was given incalculable strength through horrific genetic manipulation. Its gentle nature was completely wiped out, and it now lives only to unleash destruction." Bro, I just gotta ask, why the is this guy's mouth like that? Like, I know he's supposed to be mutated and all, but his face looks nothing like a wolf, or even a dog for that matter. His mouth makes it look like he'd be going As one of the strongest level 4 normal monsters in terms of attack, even to this day, he does live up to the flavor text of unleashing destruction. I honestly thought this guy came out in like 2012 or some because I first owned the card around that time when I was in 11th or 12th grade. It just seems like it would be a monster released in the XZ's era, at least in my opinion. I don't really think I have to explain why this guy is on a list of weirdest monsters in a set. Just take a gander at the whole picture. Weird face, 4 arms, big red claws that look like they're made of some sort of gemstone like ruby. It all adds up. But I don't really think much else about it is that weird, so I put him at this lowest spot. And up next at number 9 is Silent Abyss. Silent Abyss is a water level 7 reptile effect monster with 2000 attack and 1500 defense, whose effect says, when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy all face down and non-water monsters. We go from pretty goofy looking to just straight up ominous. This gigantic black serpent is surely the stuff of legend. There are a series of monsters in this set that are all level 7 with weirdly low stats and similar effects when they're destroyed in battle to basically nuke the field of everything that's not their own attribute. The weird stat to level ratio, as well as the unique effect, and most importantly, the spooky and eerie artwork are why Silent Abyss makes this list, even if at a lower spot. And at number 8 on the list is Neospacian Glowmoss. Neospacian Glowmoss is a light level 3 plant effect monster with 300 attack and 900 defense with this effect. If this card attacks or is attacked, your opponent draws 1 card and shows it. Then, based on its type, apply this effect. Monster, end the battle phase of this turn. Spell, if this card is attacking, you can change it to a direct attack instead. Trap, change this card to defense position. Okay, does anyone else find this thing uncanny looking? Like a mix between Slender Man and a gyroid from the Animal Crossing games. Plus it's melting into the ground. Or maybe it's doing the opposite and congealing from a primordial puddle of goo. Either way, the whole concept of Glowmoss is odd to me. His effects are battle related, and to be honest, suck major butt. Most Neospacians are pretty bad and never saw play besides a couple exceptions like Grand Mole and Aqua Dolphin, and not even in a dedicated Neospacian strategy. Its unsettling artwork along with the unique battle-related effects give Glowmoss a low-ish spot on the list. And up next at number 7 is Radiant Jeral. Radiant Jeral is a light level 4 fairy effect monster with 1000 attack and 2000 defense with the following effect. When this card is sent to the graveyard, except if destroyed by battle, gain 1000 life points if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field. If you know anything about the show Ancient Aliens, you know why this thing looks the way it does. But if not, there were many depictions of what ancient people thought of as angels in old artwork and in texts, and many of those basically described what we think of today as UFOs. So conspiracy theorists think that these people weren't really seeing angels, but extraterrestrial ships. And since they didn't have modern flying technology like we do today, they assumed divinity. I'm assuming that's what Radiant Jeral here is trying to represent, a UFO, but also an angel at the same time. But if I'm wrong, and you know more than me, let me know in the comments. Anyway, it's mainly on here for that biblically accurate angel angel aesthetic, as well as the reference to old so-called UFO sightings. And at number 6 on our list is Electric Virus. Electric Virus is a light level 3 thunder effect monster with 1000 attack and 1000 defense, with an effect that reads: you can discard this card to the graveyard, then target one machine or dragon type monster your opponent controls. Take control of that target until the end phase. Now, I mentioned in the Silent Abyss entry that there were a series of monsters with a similar theme to it. There was also another set of smaller guys that all shared effects, just switching the types it affected around. And Electric Virus was the machine and dragon type variant. It's on the list for how weird of a little guy he is. It's basically just pure electricity in the form of some sort of little bug or virus. Its effect is actually okay, but none of these similar cards ever saw play as far as I know. To even see play back in the day, they would have needed to be quick effects, basically hand traps. But I digress. Let's move on to the next entry. About halfway through our list at number 5 is Raging Earth. Raging Earth is an Earth level 7 reptile effect monster with 2000 attack and 1500 defense, with the simple effect that says, when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy all face down and non-Earth monsters. They had to have known what they were doing when making this thing. Let's be completely honest here. The shape of this thing, it being made of rock, which is hard, and raging Earth, it's really nonsense that they didn't just see a big old cock rock lizard while designing it. Anyway, this, like Silent Abyss earlier, is part of that series of level 7 monsters whom wipe the board of anything non-their attribute related after being killed in battle. Like, honestly, what else needs to be said except, do you think my guy here gets erectile dysfunction? He's just a penis, bro. And at our number 4 spot is Alien Psychic. Alien Psychic is a dark level 1 reptile effect monster with 200 attack and 100 defense, whose effect reads: this card is changed to defense position when it is normal summoned or flip summoned. Monsters with A counters cannot declare an attack. Not gonna lie, despite how weird this thing looks, and despite it probably being super dangerous if you encountered it in real life, I think it looks kinda cute. Okay, let's try to figure out what type of person we have in the room with this Alien Psychic here based on the items floating around it. First, we have black or brown slippers, then some sort of book, a cup of notably black coffee, and a kinda shitty looking office chair. Yo! It's just me when editing a YouTube video. Wait. Oh my god, no! Hello, my loyal YouTube viewers. I am still Dylan from the channel Blue Eyes White Dude, and am not being mind controlled by some sort of other being. Please subscribe to this channel, Blue Eyes White Dude, to help me spread my message to the masses. So that you can continue to watch these very humorous and entertaining videos and nothing else. And up next at number 3 is Kahkki, Guerilla of Dark World. Kahkki, Guerilla of Dark World is a dark level 2 fiend effect monster with 300 attack and 500 defense with this effect: if this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, target one monster on the field, destroy that target. Look at this guy and tell me he's not one of the weirdest monsters you've ever seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! The whole Dark World archetype is supposed to be demonic and odd, but Kahkki here probably is one of their strangest soldiers. Having a face on its torso and being, yes, gorilla spelled differently than gorilla. Wait, that doesn't work verbally. Anyway, this dude is one weird motherfucker. His effect is pretty cool too, I guess. I'd never use him in any modern Danger Dark World decks that I build, since there are already better cards that pop things in said deck. But I'm starting to get off track here, so let's move on. And the runner-up spot on our list is Marionette Mite. Marionette Mite is a dark level 3 insect effect monster with 1000 attack and 1000 defense, whose effect says, you can discard this card to the graveyard, then target one fiend or zombie monster your opponent controls. Take control of that target until the end phase. If there's one thing that will always be a little bit freaky to me, it's puppets/marionettes in a horror context. As a kid, Slappy the Dummy from the Goosebumps series of books and shows was one of the more scary things in it. So seeing this thing activates my fight or flight. It's seemingly mostly artificial, but I sense a hint of organic matter, especially in its face, which in and of itself is scary, but paired with the legs with literal knives at the ends, a sewn together long slithering body, and just the aura of the background, which old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Did very well. It all ties together to make Marionette Mite the second weirdest monster in Strike of Neos. And the winner of the weirdest monster in Strike of Neos goes to Fusion Devourer. Fusion Devourer is a dark level 4 fiend effect monster with 1400 attack and 1200 defense with the following effect. When this card battles a fusion monster, the attack of the fusion monster becomes 0 during the damage step only. Okay, who decided to plop in Hermaeus Mora into my children's card game? Jokes aside, Mr. Screaming Souls of the Damned over here is one of the freakiest primordial Lovecraftian monsters that Konami has ever put out, even to this day. Everything from the wicked mouth on a scaly base, I can't even really call it a body because it's so amorphous, the many eyes covering said base, and the weird appendages which seemingly have, I don't know, screaming souls at the ends. I don't know why this thing only deals with fusion monsters, but I guess call me a fusion because I'd lose not only my will to fight, but I'd probably lose control of both my bladder and my bowels, shitting and pissing all over the place. Sorry for that visual, but if you can stand looking at this monstrosity, you probably can handle it. I'm glad this entry is over. I promised some freaky dudes in this video, and I delivered, didn't I? I swear, this set is both nostalgic and weird all at the same time, much more like the very beginning sets of the game. Damn, I just realized we're already basically 5 years into Yu-Gi-Oh's Western release already. We still have a lot to go through though, and don't think I'll stop at the old school sets. No. I'm going until I catch up to the most recent set they've released. I don't know how long that'll take, and maybe I'll never catch up depending on the rate of me putting these videos out and the rate of Konami putting core sets out. Anyway, that's it for my time, guys. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you're new here to become one of my subscribers. If you can afford it, you can also become a channel member for some perks. And make sure to let me know in the comments what monsters you find the weirdest in Strike of Neos, and I will see you guys next time.